Not that game, anyway. Hey everybody, welcome back to the booth. Brian David Marshall with Pro Tour Hall of Famer Randy Buehler. We're getting ready for round 6 here.
We're still arguing about Jace Vryn's Prodigy.
I mean, we're not arguing. I mean, I thought it looked pretty sweet. I mean, that seemed like
I thought it looked sweet too, but it lost.
I don't think it should have. There were like multiple. So there were multiple turns where, like early in the game, where he had mana to like off of Jace go swords, flashback swords, kill both your creatures.
Yeah, he pondered to look for a land instead of, he got a little greedy with that one ponder.
And then had a similar situation in the late game where he could have gone bolt, equip my, flip Jace. Yeah, it felt like he was maybe a little tentative or a little like.
Well, the last one there was a Deathrite Shaman on the other side of the board that could mess him up with the flashback.
Sure.
That's why he took a fairly convoluted line to try to resolve the Jitte, largely because the Deathrite was stopping Jace.
Sure. But I mean, I agree.
It looks sweet.
It looks sweet. That also seems like the match where you get to go the matchup where someone can actually just go wide with enough creatures to overwhelm your Jace.
Yeah,
it seems like Jace is almost indestructible in a lot of the other matches.
Maybe. I mean, look, the guy was 4-1, but I felt like if you can't win from there, what are you doing?
Sure. Yeah, it was interesting.
His opponent sounded really good. We had Ed in talking to him. Ed D'Amico sounded like he really understood the format, understood his deck, understood how his deck interacted with whatever people were going to be trying to do to him. I mean, it was a pretty good opponent against our Jace champion here.
Yeah,
Did you see anything else cool out there?
I mean, we saw Dredge versus Aggro Loam.
Wow. Okay.
And the Aggro Loam player was like, did you do this to me? Did you make me have to play against Dredge this round? No. No, I did not.
Okay.
We've heard about some Merfolk decks. Going around.
Okay.
And some Hive Mind deck.
Okay. The word that I heard, I don't know if this is a word, but we'll call it a word, a portmanteau, I guess. Stifle Knot.
In.
Right?
I'm in.
Stifle Knot. I assume the knot in question is Phyrexian Dreadnought, whose stifle that comes into
Or
playability.
it could be no stifles. I'm playing with not stifles. It's Stifle Knot.
I doubt.
No, you don't think so?
No, I don't think
no,
so.
it seems unlikely as well. I would hope it's not. That's not what.
To send a rumor around that you're on Stifle Knot.
I did see we had a World Magic Cup qualifier match that was going on in the feature match area that involved like some crazy mono white devotion deck from Craig Wesco.
Really?
That was undefeated to that point, but he lost to Boswell. He lost to Andy Boswell playing Obzon.
So Boswell's like 5-0, 6-0?
6-0.
That's an 8-round tournament. He's into the top 8.
Well, so here's the thing. There were a lot of
buys
that sort of throw up the math, and it's conceivable that if you draw, I was talking about Matt Costa Masters also 6-0. Okay. No, but you could get into a situation where you draw, and then the X1-1 could miss.
X1-1 could miss.
You could play.
Which means you won't get your second draw.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So X1-1 not guaranteed. 7-1.
Yeah.
It's only got to get to 7 wins to be guaranteed.
Yeah. It seems like it's shaping up though that it's going to be a pretty interesting top 8 in that format.
There's a lot of good players over there for sure.
Legacy.
Yeah, no, I hear
round
the feature
7
matches
features.
for round 7.
Did he just say Gene Brumby? Like from New Zealand?
I'm gonna guess no, but maybe.
Did you hear something else?
I mean, for me, I always feel like the announcements over the intercom are like the adults from Charlie Brown. Like there's
that is Gene Brumby.
Okay.
That is Gene Brumby, or either go outside and watch Snoopy. One or the other.
One or the other. Nice. Josh Rabbit's still doing well too. Sounds like.
Well, we watched Josh play. And again, you were talking about Ed D'Amico last round.
Yeah.
And Josh was like, we were talking to Josh. We're like, when did you know you were playing against this Omnitell deck? And he's like, well, when he went turn 1 island preordained.
Basic Island? What do you mean basic? Oh, you must be on Omnitell.
So you know, Josh is someone who's going to be playing like high-level Legacy for 2 weekends here, right? Because he's also heading towards the Invitational next weekend.
Ah, right.
And so you know, he's like, I want to win this, but I also want to make sure I'm at the top of my game to win that next week.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. I don't know. Do we know who we're getting?
Gene Brumby.
It is Gene Brumby. Okay.
I mean, that could be Gene Brum?
No,
You think he's still typing? You see a blinking cursor and suspect there's more?
Gene has been around for a while. He's someone he was like one of the foremost New Zealand players for a long time.
Okay.
But he's also an Eternal specialist.
Wow.
At this point.
Playing against Daniel Holland?
And Daniel Holland is playing aggro Loam.
Ooh. This is the Pox guy?
This is Loam Pox. I'm sorry, Loam Pox.
Yeah, he's the guy that we had. I guess he had a feature match last round that we didn't get to, but he won. So yeah, let's get the Loam Pox guy on camera. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's Loam Pox. I don't know that it's aggro. The list I saw was smallpox, him to Torok. I mean, it was definitely attrition based. Yeah, you know, he's got his Raven's Crime retrace package.
It's pretty aggro.
I mean, it's aggressive.
Yes.
Attacking your hand, though.
Yes.
The sweetest part of the list, I thought, was 4 Entomb. So you only have to play 1 copy of Life from the Loam.
Oh, awesome.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, that looked pretty sweet. And then you can obviously go get your retrace cards as well. It's got a Worm Harvest in the main deck. You're like, I've drafted this deck before,
I
but
have.
I didn't get 4 Entombs.
Yeah, no, that seems super sweet. Yeah, I mean, Entombing of Raven's Crime seems awesome. Right?
I mean, I gotta think the first one goes for Life from the Loam, but sure.
Yeah, but I'm saying situationally.
Yes.
Where you actually Entomb actually gets to be this like sweet silver bullet, right?
I actually think the modern version of this deck is quite good too. It doesn't get Entombs, but Raph Levy's had a lot of success both at the Pro Tour level and at the Grand Prix level with a modern version of the Loam Pox deck. It's like no one else can pilot it. Even his teammates are just like, yeah, I think maybe Raph has the best deck, but I can't learn it in 3 days, so whatever. Levy finishes, 27th at the Pro Tour again. It's a good list. I played it in my Gauntlet of Greatness for modern.
We don't know what Gene's playing yet. We're still waiting.
Correct.
Or maybe.
Asking you shall receive.
So this is Daniel Holland.
Yep.
He's playing against.
Thoughtseize him.
So we're going to see Island Preordain into...
Oh, more Omnitell.
More Omnitell, yeah, from Gene Brumby.
Oh, this matchup has to be bad for Omnitell. 3 Thoughtseize, 3 him to Torok, 4 Smallpox. Smallpox kills Emrakul. I mean, it doesn't always usually work out that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works out that way.
Well, you don't have a lot of breathing room to be able to protect it when you've been fighting through Thougtseize.
Right. And there's a Raven's Crime.
And Raven's Crimes, yeah.
Yeah, the Omnitell deck always feels like it kind of needs all its cards.
So looking through the other matchups, Christopher Fornaro versus Franklin Smith. Franklin's a local player. He's playing Merfolk.
Oh, nice.
And Christopher Fornaro looks like
mono blue Merfolk, by the way.
Yeah.
Caverns, Mutavaults, and Islands. Main deck Chalice. It's actually pretty good in this field. Like
yeah,
Chalice won against the Delver decks?
I was thinking about that, about watching a lot of these decks. I was like, wow, what happens if you resolve a Chalice? Like,
yeah,
because especially when we were watching Josh Ravage's match, where like 1 mana spells on both, like being able to counterbalance,
right?
With all So it seemed like Chalice is.
Yeah, I mean, when Treasure Cruise was around and everyone was on the 1 mana cantrips, Chalice became a real player. But I think it's still good. Still, especially like you're a Merfolk deck, so sure you have some 1-drops, right? You've got your Curse Catchers, but A, you only have Curse Catchers at 1. B, you can still Aether Vial them into play. C, Cavern of the Souls beats Chalice. Cavern of the Souls makes it uncounterable. So Chalice is quite good in the Fish deck.
And then our third matchup is Josh Ravitz on Counterbalance versus.
Is he 6-0? You've got the standings right there, right? Or 5-1.
Josh is 5-1.
Okay.
Gene Brumby and Daniel Holland are 5-1, and then Franklin Smith and Christopher Fornaro they are 6-0.
Okay, so that's the Merfolk deck. Playing against Jund. Tarmogoyf, Dark Confidant, Deathrite Shaman, and Bloodbraid Elf.
Oh, yes! Very sweet.
Sometimes you cascade into Kolaghan's Command, or Hymn to Torok, or Liliana. Sylvan Library.
I love so. I've seen more than Sylvan Library and more than a few lists this weekend. I'm excited to see that.
I had multiple opponents playing against me yesterday in the old school tournament.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, Legends was.
Yeah, the old school tournament is the way it's played stateside. Like, there's Swedish people who originated the format who are a little more sort of cutthroat about it. They only allow up through, I think, the dark. Right. Or like maybe they let the dark in. They also have weird rules about requiring you to play versions of the card that were printed by 1994.
Okay. But right now, we're going to watch Gene Brumby versus Daniel Holland. We're ready to send it down to the floor here at round 6 at the Legacy Championships from Eternal Weekend.
Anyway, the US version of Old School Magic sets through Fallen Empires, and then versions of those cards, as long as they have the same art and the same frame.
So there you see Daniel Holland. It looks like he's led off with, is that Flagstones of Trocaire?
There are flagstones floating around these lists. Isn't that just a Bloodstained Mire though?
Oh, it is Bloodstained Mire, okay. So there, Island Preordained.
Must be Omnitell. That is a tell. A telltale?
Yeah. Wow. Oh yeah. Once he gave me a little shade there, I was able to see. Yeah.
Good old Bayou. First dual land I ever owned.
And we are getting an Entomb here. What is he gonna? So you think this is just gonna be Life in the Loam?
I mean, I'm guessing Life in the Loam. Maybe this is a matchup with the Raven's Crime, but the thing is, you can't really fuel the Raven's Crime without the Life in the Loam, so he went for Life in the Loam.
Okay.
Already one fetch land in the graveyard. Next draw step will probably dredge 3.
Oh, he did Entomb for Raven's Crime.
Oh, it was Raven's Crime?
Yeah. I'm sorry,
I can't
the glare there is really interfering.
I can't hear it. Hymn to Torok.
Oh, talk about a little old school magic there.
Indeed.
All right, gonna get a card at random here. And another one. Wow.
Those are some cards.
Dig Through Time, pretty big there. Kind of card that lets you come back.
Indeed.
From all the disruption that you're going to be under here.
Okay, here's a Ponder.
Takes a look at the cards that are still in his hand. Like, do I want to keep this?
Yeah, I couldn't quite see what was going on with those.
Looked like it was 3 spells.
Ponder fetch land, obviously nice interaction in that you can draw the best one and then shuffle away the others. Innocent Blood, that's not very exciting. There's an Urborg. Oh, he drew the Life from the Loam, that's what's going on.
Oh, okay.
So he can Raven's Crime, retrace, and then Life from the Loam to refill his hand with lands. Crazy. Gene gonna go ahead and fetch Brainstorm now, make sure he's got full information when he decides what to discard from this Raven's Crime.
Attention players, standard in the box, number 5, standard in the box.
Raven's Crime's still on the stack.
Yep.
It will resolve, but not before Gene has had the opportunity.
Well, like I said, he wants to know what all his choices are.
Yeah.
Wants to understand what he's going to be drawing. And drawing the Life from the Loam in the main, in the hand, so you can Entomb for Raven's Crime feels just kind of unfair here. This deck always feels almost dirty. Alright, a couple cards on the top with Brainstorm. 2 cards are going to go on top, one's going to go into the graveyard.
It's still a matter of...
Oh, by the way, discard a land and run it back. So he's not casting Life from the Loam this turn. He wanted to discard his last land. Kind of squandering a mana here. It might have been more mana efficient to cast it last turn.
Oh, but...
Show and tell.
Show and tell.
What's up? Oh, just rearranging the board. So Gene Brumby manages to keep just enough resources to play a 3rd land, play Show and Tell, and put Omniscience into play.
Had an Omniscience that he discarded as well. So
now Cunning Wish
for free
lets him go to his sideboard for a card that he can cast.
And that's Eldamri's Call.
It is Eldamri's Call, which he can cast for free because of the Omniscience. What do you think he's going to get, Brian?
I think he's going to cast Emrakul.
And you are casting Emrakul when you cast it with Omniscience.
Oh my gosh.
So that does trigger and get him the Time Walk turn that he needs to obliterate Daniel's board. Now, Daniel actually, I believe, has an Innocent Blood in his hand, but he's going to get annihilated here. So I think he has to top deck a land. If he'd cast Life from the Loam last turn instead of that 2nd Raven's Crime activation, he'd actually be in position to go land Innocent Blood. As it is, I think he has to top deck a land to go land Innocent Blood. He did it! Oh my god, Emrakul down! Calmly draws Cabal or what is that card? It's the Threshold one. I can't even remember what it's called. Cabal Pit something?
Yeah, Cabal Pit.
Cabal Pit.
Oh
Calmly draws it off the top, kills Emrakul, no problem. 3 life left.
There's still...
I mean, there's still an Omniscience in play, so that's kind of an issue.
Which makes every single draw that
terrifying.
Gene makes yeah, absolutely
and Emrakul, of course, shuffles the whole graveyard back in. So that's what we're doing now. Oh, by the way, his land damages him when he taps it. And he's at 3.
Alright. Draws for the turn. Says go.
Quickly untaps. Another land! Bayou off the top. Now he can Life from the Loam.
Yeah.
Takes the 1 down to 2, but yeah, absolutely. Go get some more lands. He can get back on the Raven's Crime plan. He can have lands that tap for mana and don't kill him. This is going to be tight though. Like, he does not have a long time to win this game.
Yeah. Bayou Wasteland comes back.
Emrakul off the top, redraws. Yeah, that game was worthy of a handshake, even though it was a game 1. That was a cool game of Magic.
Wow.
Man, turn 3, Show and Tell, putting Omniscience into play to Cunning Wish for Eldamri's Call for Emrakul. That was the line. Through, what, how many? 2 Raven's Crimes? And a Hymn to Turok.
Yeah, Hymn to Turok. Crime. Yeah, crime. He got crimed once, I think.
No, he got crimed twice.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, okay. Oh.
Yeah, it was him, crime.
Amazing. And yeah, discarded an Omniscience too.
Well, you don't need the second one.
You don't need the second one. Well, That was probably why he was willing to discard it.
Crazy.
So let's take a look, see what these guys do after sideboard. Not a lot of room in Gene's sideboard. We looked at this deck earlier.
I mean, not only are you a combo deck where you kind of need to keep all your pieces together, but he's got a Cunning Wish sideboard. Right. He's a Cunning Wish deck. Ultimately, you can Firemind's Foresight does cool things. Held Army's Call obviously gets the Emrakul. He has my favorite terrible victory condition, and trust me, I've played some terrible victory conditions of the day. Back in the day, like this card may actually be a worse victory condition than Megrim. Release the Ants.
Oh yeah, we talked about this earlier.
Release the Ants has got to be like the best terrible victory condition card in the history of combo decks.
The really exciting.
I don't know, maybe Megrim's still worse.
Yeah, the really exciting card is in Daniel's sideboard.
Okay.
It's, choke.
That seems very relevant. How many copies?
3. Right at the top of his side. It's like the first card he wrote down on his sideboard.
Yikes. He's got Helm of Obedience in his sideboard?
Yeah. He's got 4 Leyline, 2 Helms, so he can turn himself into a Leyline Helm deck.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of dealing with a choke, there's a wipe away that can bounce it. Kind of leave that in the sideboard. Go Cunning Wish for it, usually. Not a whole lot. I mean, you have your Force of Wills, obviously. That's about it. The 4 Force of Wills. The 4 Spell Pierces also. Yeah, I don't expect Gene to change his deck much. He has a couple of young Pyromancers. Like, he's given himself the ability to be a young Pyromancer deck.
We saw that.
Actually, I wonder if this is a matchup where that's a good plan. Like, they take most of their creature removal out. This might be a good matchup for young Pyromancer.
And it gives you something, you're fighting through that choke, but at least you're getting something. You're like, okay, preordaining, trying to do something.
Right, and it's an attrition matchup where the other guy kind of needs to deal with all your resources. It's just spitting off those 1/1 tokens. They're actually kind of relevant in a matchup like this one. Like Pox is his creature removal. Okay, I'll sack a 1/1. Innocent Blood. Yeah, I don't want to lose Emrakul. Here's my dork. Interesting.
So who do you like in this matchup after sideboarding? Like just the game 2?
I still think the Loam Pox deck is advantaged, but that was a really impressive draw. In that game, Gene Brumby just, I mean, it's hard for Daniel to draw it up much better than that.
Right. All right, players are drawing their hands.
Yeah, if Gene just has the turn 3 win, or turn 3 Emrakul anyway.
Right.
Through 4 discard cards. Wow, I mean, 4 cards discarded, 3 spells.
Okay. Players are looking at their hands. Daniel says thumbs up. Gene is still contemplating.
So hard.
Oh no, we're underway. There we go. Blue to Delta.
Mulligan decisions when you know your opponent is going to Raven's Crime you. Tough. Like, is it a good thing that I have this bad card to discard, or a bad thing that I have this bad card in my draw? Well, if I mulligan and then I'm forced to discard, it's even worse.
You scored Cunning Wish?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's all contextual. The deck, I mean... see a bunch of lands. What else is in that draw? The Nether Void. Wow.
Nether Void's kind of sweet.
Yes, sir. That's a card I was terrified of for the entire length of the old school tournament yesterday. Never quite ran into.
It's got a, see a Liliana at the front of his head.
Sure. sucking the resources on every angle. You lose a land and a card. It's like him to Zorak. 2 cards. Oh, it gets spell pierced. Oh yeah, that seems like an easy spell pierced.
Yeah.
Daniel disconsolately puts the Liliana back into his hand that he had set aside to discard.
So ponder for Gene Brumby. Just like a tightrope act for him, right?
Oh yeah. And there's also, like, with the deck, you get different versions of the quote-unquote combo sometimes, right? Sometimes you're showing an Emrakul down. Sometimes you're showing an Omniscience down. Sometimes you're using a Cunning Wish in the loop. Sometimes you're not. So I mean, you've got that too, right? Where you've got like half of this combo and half of that combo, and which one are you playing to draw into?
Another.
Here's a Liliana. Tick up, I assume. Yeah, Daniel's been ignoring the Raven's Prime in his graveyard. I think because he wants to actually play his lands rather than discard them, because he's sitting on Nether Void. I assume Nether Void beats Omniscience. Does Omniscience make them 0+3? I can't say I've had this combo in play before. My intuition says that Nether Void beats Omniscience.
I mean, it certainly sounds like Daniel Holland's intuition says that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be this deck if it didn't, right? Without paying their mana cost, is the wording on Omniscience. Counter it unless they pay 3. Nether Void definitely beats it. Yeah, it's counter it unless they pay 3.
Okay.
It doesn't add 3. If it added 3 to their mana cost,
right?
If it added 3 to their mana cost, then Omniscience would win the fight. But Nether Void is counter it unless they pay 3.
It's kind of sweet.
Oh, it's good tech. Also, destroys any other enchant world that might have snuck into play.
Whoa. Watch out, Raging River.
Well, watch out, Abyss. Was what like I said, what I was worried about yesterday, but nobody ever did that to me. Oh, Liliana never quite resolved.
Oh.
Fort decides he's going to force a will to Liliana, removing Show and Tell. You know what? If I'm Daniel Holland, I'm okay with that. I got 2 cards for my Liliana. And it's going to be that much harder for you to stop Nether Void next turn. I'm okay with that if I'm Daniel Holland. Now, Gene Brumby has fought his way to 3. This is where he's supposed to go Show and Tell and something. I see a Show and Tell.
Yes.
I think I see an Omniscience, but what's the 3rd card?
Cunning Wish.
Is it? We're done then, right? He just puts Emrakul into play again. I'm not... Really? See, I think...
He must not have the Omniscience.
Okay. So it's Show, Wish, and Dig? It's 3 blue cards.
Oh, Dark Depths.
Dark Depths with Thespian Stage. So the combo has been assembled. This is his victory condition. Like, he's, you know, Life from the Loaming Lands. Now, he can activate Thespian Stage. It was a dig through time. Okay, that makes sense. Wow, this is going to be tight. Daniel Holland currently has the ability to turn Thespian Stage into a copy of Dark Depths. They're both legendary lands, so he has to decide which one he wants to keep. He's going to keep the one that doesn't have any counters on it, so that it will then turn itself into a 20/20 flying indestructible. In other words, check. I got you next turn. Your move, Gene Brumby. Now, he chose to go for Dark Depths. I don't know, does he have a land in his hand that taps for mana? Because this means he's declined Nether Void. Right, he could have gone 4th land, tap them all for Nether Void. Right. Instead, he has said 20/20 indestructible.
I guess he just wanted maybe something that was going to be a counterable.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he may also not have a land that taps for mana. I haven't seen Daniel's hand in a while. I mean, if Dark Depths is the 4th land, well, it doesn't tap for mana, so Nether Void's not an option. I would Nether Void, I think, because you can then Dark Depths a turn later.
Right.
Like Nether Void, I feel like Nether Void's going to buy you a turn. But yeah, now here's Dig Through time. Now what Gene needs is something to show out. Untap, and there's land, there's a show and tell. I did not see yet what he got with the Dig Through time. Well,
I'm going to assume. Oh, but he gets to show and tell.
Oh, the Nether Void. I see. Now so this all makes way more sense.
Nether Void? Yep. Okay.
Now all the spells that Gene casts with Omniscience are countered.
Correct.
Oh, that's clever.
That's awesome.
Not only does it shut down Gene Brumby's combo, it shuts down any way Gene Brumby was going to stop the 2020.
Right.
There's a trigger.
Well played, Daniel Holland. Who needs to cast the Nether Void when you can just rely on your opponent to play show and tell? Look at the head nod from Gene Brumby. He has just figured out what he's done to himself. Unbelievable. Yeah, he's dead. There's a Nether Void in play, and your opponent has the 2020 ready as soon as they tap mana.
Yes, I wanted you to play show and tell.
That's awesome. I mean, Wasteland is not even good enough, right? Wasteland creates the weird detente where neither player can move first.
Keep this one.
All right, Thespian Stage, copies Dark Depths, keep this one. Doesn't have any counters on it. Oh, look at that. It sacrifices itself for
It expands for 20.
Merit Lage. Is it a Merit Lage avatar? Or is it Merit Lage herself? I think Merit Lage is the monster frozen in the lake.
Yeah.
Struggling to remember my Ice Age storyline. Kill you? Yup.
Yeah.
On to game 3. Wow. Both these games have been awesome.
Wow. Yeah, no, that was great. You're like, oh, what? Maybe he should play that Nether. Oh, wait. He gets to put that Nether Void in. If his opponent executes his plan, he gets to foil him perfectly.
Right. There's no plan for Gene Brumby's deck that doesn't involve show and tell.
Right.
It's really clever. Like, some of these decks will have the, oh, God, the 5-mana blue enchantment that Zvi was the first one to break.
Future Sight. No,
the one that lets
Dream Halls.
Dream Halls, yes. I've definitely seen Omnitell decks that have a Dream Halls plan where they just accelerate to Dream Halls, and now they're not show and telling, they're just playing, you know, pitch a blue card for Omniscience instead of show and tell for Omniscience. There's no Dream Halls in here, though.
No.
Yeah, the list has just kind of fine-tuned to where it doesn't have Dream Halls. It's all in on show and tell. The deck doesn't do anything without casting show and tell. It just doesn't work. So all you need is another Void in your hand.
Yeah.
And they're just dead.
It's just one Nether Void in the sideboard.
All you need is one.
Two would be nice.
I do think you would draw it more often if you had two. I agree with that. We get a game 3. That's exciting.
So it sounds like Josh Ravitz is up a game in his match against Dennis Foley, and Christopher Fernero is up a game against Franklin Smith in the back tables.
Yeah, they're the Chris is at the undefeated table, right?
Yeah.
Chris is the Jund player.
Yeah.
Franklin's on Murpho.
There are 5 undefeated matches this round.
So we're down to 10 undefeated, or maybe
11 undefeated players. And then a slew of players at 5-1.
At least they all fit on page 1 now.
Yeah.
We're getting there. Round 7. Only 4 rounds after this.
Yes. I gotta tell you, you know, it's funny. You know, we started early and we saw a lot of Delver and we saw a lot of Stoneforge. But we had Goblins versus, I'm trying to remember what was in the other, like Nimble Mongoose in the feature, like all sorts of like crazy decks going on. It's not just.
It's Legacy.
Yeah.
You know who's winning? People that play a lot of Legacy.
Right. People who know what's going on. No Slivers. Has that just all completely gone away?
Slivers?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Sliver deck in a while.
Yeah.
Not outside Commander, anyway.
All right. So here we are. We're about to go into game 3.
How are those 7?
They both kept. Smallpox seems worse, much worse on the draw.
Sure. I mean, it's still going to blow up a land. It's still going to make him discard a card. Being on the draw is worse than being on the play. I think that's what you're really trying to say. I think I saw it in Tomb. I don't know if Daniel has anything better this turn than setting up next turn. Yeah, I mean, it feels like his engine is insane if you give him a couple turns to set up.
You just don't always get those turns.
Not with Omnitell. I mean, Omnitell is trying to kill on turn 3. That's the plan. Kill you on turn 3.
What are you doing exactly? Let me see.
All right. There's an Entomb and a bunch of lands. And what else? Oh, the combo. He's got Dark Depths Thespian Stage with 2 other lands. So turn 4, 2020. He can attack for the win on turn 5.
He's got a life
from the Loam in his hand, so he's probably planning to Entomb for Raven's Crime. Yeah, you Entomb for Raven's Crime, play a land, Raven's Crime twice. It's probably Daniel's line from here. I think there's 1 card off the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what that is. Oh, he's holding a Worm Harvest.
Interesting.
It seems like I'm most surprised that would stay in.
I mean, it's a one of. Maybe you need a victory condition you can tutor for. I mean, the whole Dark Depths Thespian Stage thing is cute, but you're just like dredging until you can get them both with life from the Loam, I guess. All right, Gene sees what he's up against. He's probably up against discarding 2 cards next turn. Which is not enough to stop him. Like, he discarded 4 cards in the first game and still won on turn 3. Well, still put Emrakul into play on turn 3.
Here comes Entomb.
I said, my guess is Raven's Crime. I don't know what else could be happening here. Oh, the question is, does Gene want to stop it? Yes, you should stop this. Do you have Spell Pierce? Like, Spell Pierce in a heartbeat. Do you Force a Will it is an interesting question. You're going to lose 2 cards anyway. I might. Depends on how important the blue card is that he's pitching. He's got a Force a Will, so that's what he's thinking about. Does he want... Yeah, I mean, the question is how scary is the blue card you're pitching, but...
Oh, what does it represent if it's Raven's Crime?
Right. I mean, if you're planning to discard land to Raven's Crime, then... Like, if you're going to discard land, Force a Will, but the thing is, the Raven's Crime doesn't go away.
Right.
Like, if you don't win on your turn 3, Raven's Crime's just going to keep happening. So, yeah. Force a Will.
Pitches Cunning Wish.
I like it. Now he's basically got 4 turns. Now all Daniel's hand does is life from the Loam, play, and then Thespian Stage into Dark Depths. Which is not nothing, but it isn't exactly disruptive.
Cast Life from Loam for Polluted Delta.
And now what? I mean, can Daniel even skip a draw step to dredge it back? I don't even think he will.
No 3rd turn. Kill no 3rd.
Well, no need either. Oh, Helm of Obedience was the draw. Daniel's full of half combos.
But no ley line.
Right. Yeah, he's basically set up to play Dark Depths next turn and attack with a 2020 the turn after. Which doesn't seem like it should be fast enough. No pressure on Gene to win yet. He's set up for to win next turn. I mean, he needs to win next turn, though. Also, he's probably living in fear of the whole Nether Void thing, right?
Yes.
I mean, Gitaxian Probe has to give him at least a little bit of security. It's basically been a couple of draw steps since you saw his hand. Are you in Nether Void? There are Thoughtseize.
Thoughtseize, though.
If you Thoughtseize, you can't make a 20/20. Interesting. Do you skip an entire turn to cast Thoughtseize?
No.
Just cross your fingers and hope they doesn't have it?
Yeah. But that's me. I think the correct play is probably the Thoughtseize and take the turn.
I'm not sure. Like, Thoughtseize only works if Gene has a hand that can win but can't counterspell a Thoughtseize.
Alright, he does pass the turn.
Preordain, yeah. Gene's digging. Spell Pierce doesn't do anything here. Show and Tell, Omniscience. I definitely saw the show. See, he's got Show and Tell, Omniscience, Emrakul. He's got it.
He's worried about the Nether Void.
Sure.
He doesn't know how many.
What are you going to do?
play.
Like, you have to just go for it. There's a 20/20 coming over. Yeah.
So probably should have led with the Thoughtseize.
I mean, it adds turn to the game, but yes. I mean, it looks like he needed a Thoughtseize. And I'm not sure Gene had a way to stop a Thoughtseize. I mean, I think he had a spell Pierce, but you can pay for a Pierce.
Right.
Helm.
Oh.
Does that do anything? Isn't it 4 to activate?
Yes.
So Emrakul, trigger, yeah. Daniel sees he's got nothing. He's going to get annihilated, and he's not sitting on an Innocent Blood or any kind of 1-mana way to kill an
Right.
Emrakul. So extends the hand. Omnitell gets it done. Matchup did not look great, but he survived a bunch of discard spells in the first game, and in this game, Force of Will Entomb.
Yeah.
That's where he won the game.
Yeah.
He Force of Will the Entomb. Raven's Crime never came into play, and he just calmly waited until he was forced to go for it and then went for it.
The game that was super impressive to me was game 1. Yeah, where
That was through him to Torok, Raven's Crime, Raven's Crime.
and then gets Innocent Blooded.
And then Emrakul died.
Emrakul dies. Emrakul actually doesn't live to attack.
Well, it attacked once.
It attacks once. I'm sorry, it doesn't live to attack again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but Omniscience was still in play.
Right.
And
A lot of draws that win the game
yeah,
from there.
yes. Yeah.
That Thoughtseize though, I mean, that's the kind of card, that's the kind of decision you kick yourself about.
Oh yeah.
He's probably just like, I think 2 losses is fatal, especially the second loss happening in round 7.
The scene is something like at the bar later, like, you know, the one player's just like this, he's just head in hand, you know, and your 2 friends are arguing about whether it was correct or incorrect, and you're just like, oh god, you know, just like, doesn't matter, just like, I just want to open the correct box.
Right.
So, yeah, no, interesting stuff. So,
We have any other matches that we're trying to move over, or is that it for the round? All right.
So Ravitz won.
Okay.
So he goes to 6-1.
Okay.
Christopher Fornaro won. He goes to 7-0.
Wow.
So,
All right.
what was Christopher Fornaro playing again?
He was against the Fish player. He's on, he's Junt?
Yeah, he's Jund.
Bloodbraid Elf.
Okay,
right,
I'm
sure.
in. Maybe we'll watch him next round.
All right. Maybe. He keeps winning. We're going to see him sooner or later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's take a break.
Okay. We're in Philadelphia. There are delicious sandwiches to be consumed and much more legacy coverage to bring you. Don't go anywhere. As soon as the round turns around, we'll be bringing you more of that. Maybe this Jund player, maybe a Merfolk player. Who knows? Could be anything. Don't go anywhere.